Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fish Room Vlog number 21. And as you can see, I have added fish into the systems. These are the three experiments: the gravel, the soil, and the planter substrate. There isn't really anything new to report on it. I just wanted to show you the fish being added. The plants are all doing fine. This is obviously the gravel only one. I haven't had any dieback in any of the plants. I haven't had any issues in any of the fish. They're actually all doing really quite well. A couple of people had mentioned that there's a possibility for ammonia spikes with the soil specifically, I think, and also possibly with the planter substrate. Haven't had any issues with that either. As you can see, the high humidity is doing fine. Really, there's not much in the way to report. I just wanted to show you the fish being added. I tried to keep the biomass the same, but as the clips progress here, you're going to see how that is really kind of futile. Now this is the soil, obviously, and you can see there's a fair amount of tannic in the water. As the water changes progress, I'll be doing the same amount of water changes in all of them. The tannic acid in this is going to obviously fade back. I did this experiment a while back with Vallisneria, and there wasn't really much of an issue with it coloring the water. So once that original leaching gets changed out, it should relatively look the same as the gravel one. And you can see everybody's doing fine. The shrimp are fine, scuds are fine. And I haven't had any dead leaves or anything. So far this is a good initial setup for all this. This is the planter substrate, and for some reason it is a little clearer than the other two. I suspect it's because the planter substrate has a much finer granule than the gravel, so it is giving a little bit more filtration. But as this progresses, we will see. I didn't see any extra clarity with the last time I ran one of these. But each time you run something, it's a different set of variables. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Now, the reason why I went with guppies in the first place with this is those two fish. If you remember, when I took down the 7-foot guppy tank, I had put in a few baby guppies into the scuds and shrimp tank only. And they were in there feeding off of, well, all the baby little shrimplets and whatnot. And they're doing really quite well. And initially, they grew a lot faster and they had more color. Well, this is one of the males here, this one right here. I put one in here and I put one in with a planter substrate. And I wanted to, first off, get them out of that tank because there were no females in there. And it was, obviously, they're mature now. They did not actually end up growing bigger than the other ones because those fish there you see beside it are of the same age and they're all roughly the same size. As far as color goes, I think they're a little bit more, but we'll see how that also goes as well. Now, remember I mentioned the biomass issue? Well, it doesn't make any difference because I think it was like 2 days later, one of the female guppies already gave birth. But I really do want to see how that does with fish as well, because that's my mainstay for these things. I don't want to do just plants only. I want to see how they interact with fish. So, all right. This is the marine setup I did for an algae filter I put on a client's tank. Long-term issues with it, nothing, except for the fact it doesn't really seem to add enough to the installation to make it worthwhile. I mean, marine tanks have a lot of stuff on them to begin with. Lots of different things to keep them stable. And this was not adding anything to it. It wasn't making my workload any less. Actually, cleaning this out actually added to my workload. So I decided to take it off. I'm not brave enough to run a marine aquarium purely off an algae scrubber, so I'm not going to do that. But I do want to set this up again because it would be a waste not to use it. So I'm going to give you guys the option. You can decide what I'm going to do with this. I have two things I can do here in the shop. One is to put it as a sole filter on a freshwater aquarium, and I'll run one of the 15-gallon tanks just off of that, put probably like hornwort or something in it, and see how that does. The other option is I could add it as an augment to the Daphnia project, and I can use it to hopefully grow more free-floating algae for the Daphnia. So you guys let me know in the comments below which way you want that to go, and I will hook that up. Now, if you remember from the thumbnail, I have at least put together 3 of the feeding rings. 5 people were interested in getting a feeding ring and paying for the shipping, and I was going to make 4 because I thought there was 4, but I ended up messing one up, and so I'm down to 3. I will put together 5, and what I'll do is I'll leave my email below and we can make arrangements from there. Now, one of the reasons for making these feeding rings is I really do like to say thank you as much as I can to you guys for watching my videos and leaving comments and all that sort of thing. It is the least I can do, and if I can, get the postage paid for it, I can do these more often, and, hopefully that will continue to work out that way. The other reason for making these is I really want to test out this rig here for making round acrylic. It was a video I did a little while ago showing you don't really need a lathe to round out acrylic, and it does work quite well. But because I am actually going to be putting this on the lathe anyway, from my perspective, what I want to know is this actually saving me any amount of time in making these? Currently I am going to try rounding down 4 pieces of acrylic to fit that larger pipe there. Now, if I were to put these on the arbor and turn them down, I'd be doing it all at once. Now, as you can see, this is not actually taking any real amount of time, but I am doing it one at a time. And really, to tell you the truth, it does save a lot of mess, but really not that much time. I mean, like I said, if I can do all 4 at once, it does go by relatively quickly. But that's okay. I mean, this is just a test anyway. I wanted to try it out, and it's always a good idea to actually do a project and then make decisions from there. So I'll probably try it a couple more times as well. I mean, it wasn't really that big a difference in time. It's just, like I said, one more step. Unfortunately, a step that needs to be repeated, but we'll see how that goes. So there you go. That's one done. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to speed up the video for you. Like I said, I'm not taking this down to round. Simply because it really isn't necessary at all for when I'm going to put it on the lathe anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. But that's okay. So we're going to speed this up, and I wish I could do it this fast, to tell you the truth. Then I'm going to put it on the lathe and get the precision turning part of this done. Now, I mean, this part is fine, and like I said, if you're going to leave it as an outside fitting, this is pretty much all you need to do. But I do want this to have an internal fit for at least one of the tubes. I think it's going to be the smaller one. And like I said, you just can't do that on there. So this is the rough turning. One of the things I forgot to do, as you can see there, is I left the film between it. And that's actually makes it really hard to turn. Little pieces of acrylic dust get in between the sheets and they spread out a little bit, and it's really hard to get a good finish on it. So I am going to, obviously once I do this quick shot here, I am going to take them all apart, peel them, and then put it back on. And one of the other things you notice is when I put this on, I forgot one of the points, but it makes no difference whatsoever to the lathe. Like I said, this is speeded up, obviously. But it doesn't take any time at all to turn this down. This is meant for metal. This is easy to turn acrylic. So that's the rough turning there. Like I said, I'm going to take that apart and get the rest of this done. I'm not going to bother showing any of that to you, but I do want to show you how it all starts off. When you cut it on the saw, because this is really flexible, with a really rough edge, and that's what it looks like there. And then there you go. That's what it looks like after it's been turned down properly. And the reason why I really do like using the lathe. Now, I did keep the, this is it here. This is the one I did on the saw, and I took it all the way down to smooth. And that is the difference between the two. It's not so much a greater difference in the actual finish. It is, the greater difference is the ability to make it a precision fit. Even though I managed, like I said, to screw one up here, and calibrating it was a little bit of an issue, but once it's calibrated, it actually takes no time at all to crank them all out, because then I can just go to the same setting. And this is, they haven't been glued yet, but that's what the feeding ring is going to look like, and there are 2 more of them, and I'm going to get those off to you guys as soon as we make all the arrangements. And as always, if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe and let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, that would be great as well. So thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.